All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to Eric. Good morning. We have a nice crowd today. All right, thanks for coming out. So I first want to say thanks to everybody that came out for the Hispanic Heritage Month dance. That was a lot of fun. We had a packed crowd here, lots of dancing, lots of Latin music. Speaking of music, is it possible to turn off the music, Jack? Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. This weekend, we have the Pelican Building will be closed for a wedding. And so that's starting tonight. They have their rehearsal. So that I think they're going to get here around 4 p.m. And then so after that, they're going to begin setting up. But tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., they're going to be here bright and early. I've already let the ARC know that they're going to be in here. She's been planning this for well over a year. So she's really nervous but excited, as usually brides are. The card class, you're making three cards total. 2 cards are going to be for Halloween. I've sent out some pictures via email yesterday. I was able to send out a lot of emails. I had issues with Constant Contact, so sorry to bombard you with so many emails all at once. There's 3 slots left. So if you're interested, please let me know for the cards. It's Monday at 10 a.m. and it's usually about 2 hours. Coming Monday. Yep, this coming Monday. Perfect. All right. Well, we have 2 slots left. It's $12 cash. When you get here, you'll give it to Jean. She's the person that coordinates that class. She's really good at what she does, too. Also, I know that Rosh Hashanah just passed, so happy Rosh Hashanah, happy New Year to all those who celebrate. And I have some sign-up sheets here. I made them a little bit easier to know what they are. So for instance, we have a knife here that's for murder mystery. We have a murder mystery next Friday that starts at 7 p.m. They say to have 6 to 8 people on your team. Any less than 6 is really hard to be competitive. More than 8, maybe somebody's not going to have something to do. So 6 to 8 is a nice number. It's $15 per player. So I'll be passing this around because there's actually several things here if you want to peruse that. And it's the same gentleman that did the last one. So I know the last time was a lot of fun. Everybody was kind of running around and trying to find clues, because you do actually have to go into, like, say, the lobby and find clues there and kind of make your way around the property. So it's a lot of fun. The costume contest is not for children. It's actually for adults. And I have little mini trophies that I'll be giving away for some the spookiest costume, or the I don't know what, there's one for the sparkiest costume. I'm still trying to figure out what that means. So we'll figure that one out together maybe. But yeah, once we see it, we'll know what it is. That's the 18th. It's on a Friday at 7 p.m. What we're going to do is I'm going to have everyone there vote. So everybody, if I could just have everybody's attention, please. I'm sorry. Thank you. So that costume contest, like I said, is you're going to be voting. So there'll be 6 different trophies, and you can put in, I have a I voted sticker that we're going to put. So that way we have voter integrity, okay? No early voting, sorry. We have, of course, the Halloween bash is a go. I've been very busy with that. We're going to have some jousting, yes, no, that's not it. I'm getting my things confused. We're going to have the haunted house, of course, and the pumpkin patch in the back. So if you want to volunteer, I still need volunteers. I just ask that when you volunteer for something, please make sure that you follow through, or at least let me know if you can't do it. Communication is key because it just makes everything a lot smoother, because sometimes I'm busy with other things and I can't fill in for that. So that's the Halloween bash. What else? I have here the Edison and Ford Estates. I know that there's a lot of quilters in the community, so they're actually having an annual quilt show on Saturday, October 5th from 10 to 2 p.m. They will have they'll have a quilt appraiser there, so that's kind of neat. So you can bring your quilt and have it appraised there. But they will be also selling quilts. There's the Orchid Sale and Symposium. That's on October 12th. I'm not sure. I think that's a Saturday. So that's it is Saturday, right? And so there's going to be participating vendors such as Bello Tropicals, Blue Pagoda Orchids, Florida Orchid House, plenty of things. I'm going to pass this around as well. But they're doing a lot of great stuff over at the Edison and Ford Estates. There's even a really great acrylic landscape painting class. So I'll pass that around so you can read a little bit more details on that. And then, so like I said, the sign-up sheets are going around. Please feel free to just jot down your name so that way I can, an email and phone number is ideal. So that way I can communicate with you. So there is no karaoke this month, so I'm sorry, Jack, we can't, I know. But we'll make up for it in November, okay? What else? Oh, the candy stuffing. So we are doing, we're stuffing little bags full of candy, and I have some light up rings that's going to be for the children that are going to come through the haunted house. That we're going to give them a bag of candy and just a ring. So yeah, we're going to need some hands. You know, I probably need about maybe 15 to 20 people at most, because there will be men's poker on one side of the building and we'll be on this side. So I know for instance, the eggs, we had about 40 people, which was fantastic because there's 8,000 eggs, but we don't have quite as many bags to fill. So if you can sign up, please let me know. And of course, let me know if you can't make it. That is really helpful for me. That is October 22nd at 6 p.m. Yep. And if you do volunteer for Halloween, I still need scare actors, especially. I'm looking at you, maybe. No, I just think he would. I think he would enjoy doing it. Yeah, I think he would enjoy scaring people. This is for the haunted house. Yeah, you were in it last week. You want to volunteer again? Yay. Pat? Oh, all right. I'm getting volunteers left and right. I love it. Yeah, just right, I guess. There's also, we're planning far ahead in the year, so I'm going to let Tom Robertson tell you a little bit more about the West Side Story. We are going through, I'll let Tom. No, because otherwise I'll tell everything. Here you go.
All right. There's a family that actually lives here that is somewhat associated to the Gulf Symphony Orchestra. They came and they approached Jessica on trying to get us involved in going there. I looked at the shows and I picked West Side Story as one of the shows that we're going to have an opportunity to go. There'll be a sign-up sheet that's going to go around. Please sign up on that sheet. It is going to be March 22nd. It'll be a Saturday night. It'll be at Barbara B. Mann, so the Gulf Symphony Orchestra, as well as the play West Side Story. We're getting a 20% discount, so our tickets will be $69. I'm asking people to pay by November. I actually have to pay later on in this month for all of the tickets that we're going. I've ordered 40 for us, so if everybody who wants to come sign up.
Is it just the symphony, or is there also?
The play of West Side Story is on the stage. The symphony is actually the orchestra that's playing with it. So it's like going to a Broadway show where you have a high quality, I don't want to call it band, but playing music, and then you have the actual show. So there's another one that I'm looking at. which is not in Barbary Man. It's at a church on Daniels, and they work there also. It seems to be like a murder mystery thing, murder for two or something like that. So I am looking into that, and we may be able to do that also. I also have just come in now for Saturday, November 9th, Chicago, Broadway Palm, $85 a ticket. So if you're interested in that, it's not advertised anywhere, just let me know. And I guess I could get the reminder out there for the first time. February 24th, Monday, Yankees, Red Sox. I don't have any pricing information on that yet. And to go along with the Edison and Ford, in December, they do their lighting up of that location, and they have specific nights that they actually have music at the estates also.
When you say Chicago.
Thanks, Tom.
It's probably one of the best shows they put on. Chicago this production was fabulous. Not
Awesome.
good, fabulous.
Oh.
So I really recommend it. You have to go for it.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it. There was something else I needed to tell you also. Yes, so we actually have a contact that lives in North Carolina and is willing to drive up any goods for the Hurricane Helene or Helen, however you say it, Helene. So if you, and we're going to start taking donations starting today. Food, yeah, food and clothing. Mostly food and clothing, yeah. And not, of course, non-perishables. No, we can't take rotisserie chickens or anything like that. In the library, yeah. I gotta find a box for it because this just came to me today. So we want to jump on that and get that going so we can get the help as soon as possible. Yeah, and you know, as we gear up for, it certainly feels like season already. We are planning all the way to March, for goodness sake. So we are in the thick of it. So if you see my "Do Not Disturb" sign on my door, it's not that I'm being antisocial. It's just that I have to get stuff done. Especially today, my expense report is due, so I have to do that. Yes, ma'am. It is on November calendar. It is on November 15th. It's actually going to be like a welcome back day. I have a shop till you drop. I have vendors coming in the morning to set up, and then that'll be from 1 to 4 p.m. They'll get cleaned up, and then we'll set up for Dina. She's an excellent singer. Has anybody been to the music walk downtown? Yeah, music walk. Usually I snag a lot of good talent there. So she's phenomenal. You really want to be here. It is a free event. And then just as a housekeeping, I just want to mention the coffee maker. There's been some coffees being left out. Especially the coffee makers, the flap that you pour the water in has been left open, and what that does is that the water that's in there that's being kept hot it evaporates essentially, so it could be a fire hazard. So I just want to throw it out there just as a little housekeeping. Yes, sir.
If I Google music walk, what I need?
Yeah. Oh, music walk. Yeah, it's downtown Fort Myers. They block the streets off, and they basically give talents. I think the talents actually have to pay to be there. But you'll walk down one street, you'll have some kids playing drums, it's all ages there, and then you have a rock band somewhere else, and it's usually, it's on a Friday. It's I think it's the first Friday of every month. If not, it's the third. I'm sorry, I don't remember. Third? Okay. Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, and they have concessions and stuff there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Any questions for me? Yes. Garage sale is going to be November 2nd. So that week I will be very busy because we got Halloween night And then November 2nd, we have the garage sale and that. So send me your permits. I do need just a picture of it, even if you want. Screenshots are fine. I just need to make sure that you have the permit and that it's on file. And then that's the only way that I know how to put the star on the map. Because I go through and I put each individual star on the map of whoever's participating. Typically, we get about 60 people, 60 homes that participate. But I anticipate this one. I've had a lot of people asking me, when's the next garage sale? So I think we're going to be very busy. An ad will go out in the paper for that, as well as all on the social media platforms. Okay. They don't do that anymore. No, I just think they don't because I've called them and called them and called them and I've had nothing back. So unfortunately, no. That's a good question, though. I've been asked that a lot. Okay. Well, if nothing else, any questions? Okay. All right. Well, I'll hand it over to Chuck then. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. We didn't have coffee last Friday. We had a hurricane, I guess. So I just want to cover that a little bit, what happened here. The team, as you know, we have our storm preparedness plan. We executed that plan. We wrapped everything up. We brought all the furniture in here, battened down the hatches, and at the most we lost 5 trees on the Esplanade. And actually with our tikis down at Calypso got beat up a little bit. So nothing like the last wind event we had a couple of years ago. So that's a positive thing. But we were able to unpack this building, get everything back out to the pool, get the pool cleaned up in time for the Hispanic Heritage Dance. We love when a plan works. So we're prepared for anything else that they're going to throw at us. Lightning strikes, hurricanes, we're ready to go. So, but we missed last week. So I know since we missed last week, I know you all have a lot of questions for me. Before I get to you, Erica, I'm sorry, I'll give a little status. Mulch is being delivered today at Calypso Park. We hope that they're going to start next week, but because of the hurricane, the projects they were working on last week now got pushed a little bit. So they're trying to catch up. They were planned to be here starting Monday to start spreading mulch, but that could be delayed a little bit because of the events of last week. So we'll see what happens. Juniper has been working hard to kind of stay in front of them, weed control, edgings, all those kind of things. The commons are ready to take on the mulch, and we can't wait to see how that looks. So it looks great when it goes down. Also, we're working on getting our quotes for our tree trimming this year. We're just finalizing some last minute details there, and we'll get that planned and scheduled, and we'll move that forward as well. The other thing that we're doing is we're working on the budget. We've been doing a lot of budget planning, budget meetings, trying to get everything put together for the budget for the board and present that and get that going. So with that, I saw your hand go up. No? Somebody wake up Eric. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Tom.
I'd like to acknowledge that the tree line on Surfside was trimmed, so the Calusa plants.
Yep.
So I'd like to acknowledge that. Thank you.
We got it. Any other questions? Yes.
It's not a question.
No.
So I'm in Somerville, I just want to give an unofficial, we survived the last storm. Half of our roofs are in the sealed state, meaning the old roof was taken off and now we're in sealed state. Half are still being kind of held. But I have not heard of any significant leaks or anything. I know many of us were concerned about it, but we survived, we are thankful.
Great. And we're looking. Oh yeah. And from what I understand, if you believe the meteorologists, we're in store for a pretty big rain event next Sunday to Wednesday, I think, of next week, if it stays the way it's supposed to. So 8 inches of rain, I think they're forecasting. Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Any board members? Bill? I'm going to turn it over to Bill. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Good. Morning. Two things I want to go over. One is that we put out a couple of announcements. Lynn Smith had to resign from the board. She moved out of the community, so we have a board vacancy. If you're interested in being considered for a board position, or if you know someone that might be interested, please have them reach out to myself or Chuck. Actually, you should reach out to both of us. Our goal is to have some consideration for a new board member at the October board meeting, which is October 24th.
You're still wanting the 14th. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Tom. Go Red Sox. Anyway, the other thing is that we, at the board meeting this week, the board voted to initiate contract discussions with a new management company. We will be sending out an email to the community about that later today. In a nutshell, we looked at 3 options. One was extending Associa and looking at 2 of the finalists from the last go-around in the 2020-21 review process. And we came to the conclusion that this company that we're recommending to have contract discussions with, Precedent, would be a better choice for our community in terms of Precedent is a company that specializes in lifestyle communities like Sandoval. So we're pretty, we're working through the contract discussions now. We'll have more information about that. Hopefully we'll be in a position to discuss contract terms at the next board meeting for the board to review and approve. One of the key things is that there was some concern that was expressed about if we change companies, are we going to lose the staff on site? And we've made provisions so that the existing staff, if they choose to, will be continued. They will all be extended job offers under the new company. So the impact from the on-site staff perspective will be minimal. What you'll see is different reporting structure and we believe some more user-friendly payment options for assessments and for general fee collection. So we're just, we'll have more details, and then once the contract's finalized, we will have a town hall with Precedent to introduce themselves, show you their tools. They actually have an app, a smartphone app that you can use for making payments with and things like that. So we'll just want everybody to know we're going through a process until the contract's done. Can't get into a lot of details, but from a cost perspective, it's within about $10,000 of what we're paying now for the management company. So it doesn't have a huge impact in terms of the overall operating budget. So, and since that's going to be a big deal, I'm open to any questions. Try to answer about that now. Yes, Eric.
There are several ladies at the pool that are in the aerobics class that came up to me, and you notice I haven't said anything about stop signs for a long time.
Right.
But they're very concerned, and they wanted me to raise that question. What do you do?
Did you clarify this question?
The question is that we still have people that forgot how to drive and still go through stop signs. Did I get that right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they go through them fast. They do a New York stop, I think it's what it's called too sometimes. California stop, excuse me, okay. Or if you ever been to Boston, it's a Boston stop too. So I know safety and security is looking at a bunch of issues for next year. They're working with Dave on trying to get some line items in the budget for some potential traffic mitigation issues. One of the things that we have to reconcile, Eric, is that with the survey that was done earlier this year, there wasn't an appetite for a lot of proactive monitoring of traffic in the community. So the committee has to work around the concerns that were expressed through that survey. But that is an issue, and we've got to, and I know, we've got to figure out some ways to do that.
I know there's not an appetite for speed bumps.
Well, there's not an appetite for speed bumps, there's not an appetite for traffic violations. In fact, the HOA legislation that just got passed puts a lot more restrictions on it and makes implementing something like that a much more costly endeavor for an association. So we've got to work on some ways that maybe, like gentle reminders, like maybe a sign that says you're doing 30, or something like that, to sort of try to do positive behavior modification within the community. Pardon me? Well, they're not if you want to pay 3 times our insurance rate. Okay. There was another question over here.
With the new contract with the management company, could you give us a brief overview of both the shortcomings of the old company and what are the positive sides of the new company?
So so everybody should be aware that we've struggled getting our financial reports done on time earlier this year. What we also saw were quality control issues with the back office bookkeeping operations of Associa that are headquartered out of Richardson, Texas. Associa is a business, and this is not being negative, as a business, they focus on what's called portfolio management. That is, they have, most of their customers are associations like the Somerville Condo Association, where the CAM is there part-time, and they have a CAM that splits working across multiple properties. So they have developed a bookkeeping operation that is very cookie cutter and is very cost efficient from their perspective to manage these types of portfolio accounts. We did not see that they had a good business model in place to support communities like Sandoval that require some degree of customization, a lot more high touch relative to getting our financials straightened out and things like that. So when we looked at the process, we looked at 3 choices. One was extending Associa 1 more year just to see if we saw any improvements in the back end. The other thing we did is we went and looked at the two of the finalists from the last go around and got them to do updated quotes for our community. And one in particular stood out because they had a very high quality, well, first of all, Precedent focuses on communities like ours. So their business model is built around supporting on-site staff and communities that they call lifestyle communities. They have a back office and infrastructure and a user interface, and by users I mean owners being able to make payments and gain information about what's going on in the community, that we believed was much more in tune with the needs of the community. Third, we saw that they had local support. Their AP processing and their bookkeeping support that we would be getting is in Fort Myers as opposed to Richardson, Texas. So we felt, and we got to meet the people, and we believe that we were going to have a lot better quality control around our reports and just being able to do things like not have to put out 2 coupon books if we ever have to do another special assessment or things like that. So we believe that for a relatively modest difference in price, we were getting a company that was more in tune for our type of community. Does that answer your question? Okay, good. Other questions? Yes?
I don't know if this is a forum, but anything on Wi-Fi?
Okay, I can give you an update on that. So the Internet ad hoc committee, we started out 2 months ago, and put out a request for quote to 5 vendors that can serve this community. Of those 5 vendors, we narrowed it down to 4, and we had an in-depth one-on-one review with each of those vendors to go through their proposal response, focusing on their responses around service level capabilities, redundancy, and customer service. What we found, which we good, all the pricing is pretty good from a market perspective. So, you know, each company had sort of like a slight variation of their offer, but we're pretty pleased from a pricing perspective what we're seeing so far. Our internet consultant has now taken the feedback that the committee put together from each of those 4 meetings and went to those 4 vendors and said, we'd like you to update your proposal along these lines. And each of that was individual to each different vendor. Our internet consultant is compiling the follow-up RFP responses, and we're going to meet as a committee next week and review that. We're going to get the analysis from our internet consultant next week sometime, and then we'll prepare a recommendation for the board to consider starting a contract negotiation with one of these vendors at the end of October. And that's where we're headed. We're probably, all of them, the good news is that all of them are looking at providing service that starts at a minimum of 1 to 2 gig. They all have relatively good pricing. I mean, we are gonna see a slight increase. The market rates have gone up. I mean, if you go and get internet off the street today, you're gonna be paying $50, $60. We're not gonna be paying anywhere near that, but it will be a little bit of a slight increase from what we're paying today. We're putting a heavy focus on reliability and redundancy, because it's one thing to say I've got 2 feeds in the community, but if one feed's down, prove to us that the community is still up and running, because we've got a lot of people dependent on internet, not just for staying at home at work. People are relying on it more for medical devices and things like that. Jane and I just got like a smart oven, so I want to be able to use my oven and stuff like that. So, but yeah, but the point is that the internet is becoming. It has to become as I hate to use this analogy, but it has to be reliable as you turn on the tap and the water's always there. And we have to get as close as we can get to that with our next selection, because any vendor is going to make an investment to make sure that there's fiber not only inside of each street, but to each home. So it's going to be a big investment on their part, no matter which vendor we pick. And that's going to require a long-term contract where we don't have an appetite for 10 years, but it's not going to be 3 years. So we've got to make sure that we come up with a good solution for the community. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Yeah.
I have one more if I'm
Shoot.
permitted. I currently use T-Mobile. Does anybody have a recommendation for cell service that you can actually use here? Verizon?
Well, so my personal recommendation is Pure Talk.
Pure Talk.
Pure Talk. They're cheaper. They're one of the least expensive, and they run on the AT&T network. And I use them for backup internet when internet goes down.
You're talking Verizon.
Plus, I think they have some veteran discounts too. Yeah.
Did you guys look at Starlink?
We did. Starlink, so here's the issue with Starlink. Starlink is great for an area that does not have a high concentration of bandwidth needs. In order for Starlink to work in this community, we'd have to do one of 2 things. We'd have to put up 1425 antennas across our buildings in order to get the service, or we'd have to put in one large antenna head end, and we would have to file ourselves as a common carrier in order to transmit internet to every house. So that puts a burden on the association that I don't think we'd want to take on. So at some point, services like Starlink are going to become much more ubiquitous and cheaper. They still haven't crossed below that $80 to $85 unit price yet. So even on a wholesale basis, we still be paying $60, $70 a head there. Yep.
With the contract being 3 years or more with the internet, and the way technology is, and it changes so much in so
Not yet. So the approach that these vendors are taking is to, once that you have fiber into each house, because we don't have fiber into each house, we have fiber in the streets, but a lot of the houses either have copper wire or coaxial cable connecting the street equipment into the house. With fiber, you're basically able to deliver up to 10 gig service. So over the next several years, there's no mobile service or satellite service that has the same capability to deliver up to 10 gig of service over the next 5 to 8 years. So that's from a technology perspective what we're seeing today. Now, you can still go and get your own standalone mobile service, but to put something in on a density basis, it's just, the technology is just not there yet.
But how do we handle emerging technology, say 5 years from now, something new comes out, are we still stuck with the old technology, or do we have the ability to move over to something else?
So our contract will be for a set term, but one of the ways to make sure that that we're not in a bad position is that the fiber in the ground will have a 20 to 25-year life, number one. Number two, we will have a price cap on the contract so that we won't be paying huge amounts of money for service. And and on an individual basis, if you want to invest in something different, it would be a personal choice at that point. Okay. Other questions, comments? Okay.
When are we thinking about changing the internet over, is that 2025 or?
So our contract with CenturyLink/Quantum ends late April of 2026.
Oh,
Any vendor that we're going to select is going to have anywhere from 9 to 6 months of lead time needed to do all the infrastructure upgrades that are needed in the community. So that's why we want to get the decision made by the end of this year, give that vendor a chance if they have to go file for permits and things like that to get all that done, and then we can roll in, and then we can do a sort of a smoother transition to complete the cutover. Hopefully, in a perfect world, we're completing the cutover by late March, so we've got that last month of April to deal with any issues that may be residual. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just so Lisa, my HVAC provider, supplier there, told me there's some new changes coming to that kind of equipment in 2025. I was just thinking maybe we could have some kind of seminar where some kind of HVAC specialist comes out and tells us what that means. Because my guy told me, don't switch out your AC unit until after this.
Okay. That's news for me. I'm glad. Thanks for telling me that. I'll look into that. Okay. There's some changes occurring with.
All right, they're changing I'm in business.
Okay.
All right, they're changing the gas. It's not mandatory. Carrier's not doing it until next year.
Okay.
But some of it contains propane, all right, and Freon. I mean, the gas they have now, which is 407, is still gonna be around for a while.
Yeah.
It's a scare tactic. Oh, you better make the change now.
Okay. And a lot of people may be getting that scared tactic.
That's what it is.
So somebody could just chat with us about it, because I.
No, oh, don't do anything. We'll sell it to you later.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Anything else? Okay. Everybody have a good weekend.
Oh,